Keith.
Jamie.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
On the podcast today, we have Keith Reeves, owner of Optimized Wellness. Keith is a Colorado native who ventured into the self-employment world in 2005.
True.
That's a long time ago. After spending 15 years in the software industry. We're going to talk about the jump from that to your new businesses.
Right. People that can do the math now realize how ancient I actually am.
After selling his first business in 2016, he made the decision to start a new business, Optimized Wellness, focused more on directly towards his passion in life.
Yes.
And we'll talk about Optimized Wellness and what you guys are doing for people, which is awesome and exciting. And
totally awesome.
It is so fun. He is a father and grandfather that loves spending time with his wife on the beach.
Love that.
When is the last time you've been to the beach?
Oh. Quick story.
Quick story.
All right,
I love it. Let's do it.
All right. So we have to book a trip, right?
Right.
To get our butts on a seat in a plane to keep our miles or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. So we do that for a week in September. Well, all of a sudden, my wife has to go to San Diego the weekend before, or the week before. So we're like, let's go out, we'll stay the weekend. So we spend the weekend on a beach in San Diego. The next weekend, we're in Newport on the beach. I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
This is the best ever.
So 2 weeks ago,
I love
week
it.
and a half ago.
I love it.
Yes.
We are going to Mexico
Nice.
for a week in November, and I could not be more excited.
Yes.
For a 15-year anniversary, because we haven't been to the beach. Well, we've been to the beach, but we haven't been to the beach.
Understood.
My dad lives in Panama City Beach, so.
Oh, awesome.
And they have a golf cart.
Yep.
And they're literally a golf cart right away
Yep.
from the beach. But the kids and the packing and this, doesn't count really for me.
I understand. I do. But you can leave the kids with Dad and
Right.
go to the
Family
beach.
trips are not vacations. I always tell people that. It's just taking all of my responsibilities and moving them somewhere else.
Going on the road.
Packing them up, moving them somewhere else, dealing with them there, packing them back up, and bringing them home.
Yes. But it is easier to deal with on a beach.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now that we've gone completely sideways.
Before we ever get started.
I love it. What was your first job? This is my most favorite question because it always
First
comes
job
back.
like ever? Mm-hmm. Like back in the day?
Like back in the day.
Wow.
You don't have to tell us when that was.
Yeah, I know. It was at a little Mexican restaurant. And I'm trying to think, it was probably dishwasher at this little Mexican restaurant. Italian restaurant.
Italian restaurant. Where
In North Denver.
Okay. You grew up in Denver.
Grew up in Denver.
North Denver.
Yes.
Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah, high school.
We're going totally off here.
I went to high school. Everybody asked, where'd you go to high school? I went to Random. They're like, huh?
I know where Random is.
No, shut up.
Was.
Yeah, it was. So I tell them, well, our rival was Westminster. So
Right, it was Westy.
Then they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, but nobody's ever heard of Random.
I've heard
But
of
yeah,
Random. We used to play
went
them in
Random.
basketball before there wasn't a Random anymore.
Right? They merged with Westy. How weird is that?
And I think that happened when I was in high school.
No.
That happened.
Really? I thought it was like within the last 5
Oh,
years
maybe
or
not.
something.
We used to play them in basketball because they were 4A.
Yep.
And because I went to Golden, and we were a tiny little school.
Yep. Yep.
Tiny-ish compared to the other ones. Okay, back on. So your first small business was a printing shop.
Printing shop, yes.
Is that what you would call it, a printing shop? How did you get into that industry after the software sales? Because you were doing software sales, right, or training?
I was working in sales department with software, but I did the whole thing. I did programming and support and maintenance and all that, installs, training, all of that. So during that time, my wife and I both worked at the same software company. And for years, we talk about, let's do our own thing. Let's start a business. Let's buy a business. Let's do this whole business thing. But you've got that security, right, of the corporate world. You've got a steady paycheck. You've got insurance.
I know.
And so you're like, okay, and you just keep talking about it. Well, I went through a situation where I worked at J.D. Edwards, who merged with PeopleSoft. At that point in the software world, there was like SAP and Oracle and J.D. Edwards and PeopleSoft. Well, the combining of the two put them above Oracle, which Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, is like egomaniac. Is like, oh, hell no. Excuse me. And so he did
You can cuss on the podcast.
He did a
it's fine.
hostile takeover, right? So within 18 months, I go through a merger, a hostile takeover. When Oracle came in, I was laid off. Got a good severance, had a good bonus. I'm like, look, we've got money in the bank.
Right?
If we're going to do this, let's do it. Now's the time. So I just went looking for a business. Not a printing business.
Just any business.
I called on this business. It's the strangest thing. I called on this business. It was a courier business. I'm like, that'd be cool, right? It was in Castle Rock. Called the broker. He's like, oh, you know what? They're closing on that today. But if you're interested, I've got a printing business. They just took it off the market. He's going to lower the price. It's in Castle Rock. I'm like, printing? Huh. Technology, producing something. I'm like, okay, let's take a look.
Software maintenance.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of got into the printing world.
You're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
It's a business. Let's do this.
I love it.
Not a good way to find a business. I'm just saying.
But you had that business for what, 10 years?
11 years.
11 years. What were some of the biggest obstacles?
Yeah. So the biggest obstacles, and looking back, what I can say is, if you're looking at going into business, you have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to be a business owner, or do you want to buy a job? Because what I did was I bought a job.
Right.
Right.
Which most business owners do at the beginning anyway.
Right. Because you don't realize the difference. So some of the obstacles were, the biggest one was me. Right.
Always is.
Very controlling. Very.
No.
Yeah, very detailed. Everything has to be right, right? So I get into analysis paralysis. I never get anything done because I'm constantly analyzing. Let's make it better. Is this the best it can be? Is it? And it never is. So you never get anything done.
Right.
That was a big challenge.
I don't understand that at all.
No, you're not like that, which is good, right?
Perfection is a crutch sometimes.
Yes.
Or our Achilles heel too.
Yep. Exactly.
I know.
And the whole control, right? You want something done, you want it done your way, because your way's the best way.
Show me a better way if you want to do it. But
you're the one that owns the business. It has to be the best way.
Right.
And so that was always a challenge, right?
Personality.
Yeah, it had to be. So I'm working 80, 90 hours a week just because I want to do it myself.
Business ownership is awesome. You can work any 80 hours you want,
That's
right?
That's right.
My uncle always says that.
What's it called? The business hour, half work week or whatever.
Right.
Half-time work, right? 80 hours a week. Yeah, it's nuts. I was the biggest obstacle.
Was there any other obstacles with the location? Or
yeah,
did you purchased it in the location too,
I did.
right? So
I
all
did.
the equipment,
I
the
did.
lease.
And research is a good thing to try and do upfront before you buy a business, because my understanding was, look, here's what I did. So I knew the business. I was going down to meet the business owner and for the first time. And I knew there was a printing shop just down the street. So I'm like, I'm going to stop in there, check it out. I walked in. Nobody said hello. I was there 10 minutes. Nobody talked to me. Nobody asked if I could help. I'm like, dude, if this is the competition, are you kidding me? Shh. So I went down and met with him. I thought he had a good reputation in the community. But it was mixed. So I didn't do the whole under new ownership and that whole thing, which I probably should have. Looking back, hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
So yeah, I did. I purchased it in the location. He owned the building, and he was a one-man shop. Just did everything himself. The whole old school. I'm not going to hire anybody. I'm not going to pay for anything. If it's broke, I'll use duct tape and baling wire until it actually falls apart. I'm not that guy. If something's broke, I call a guy. I'm calling a guy. So, so I bought it in the place. He owned the building that I bought it in. So that was actually helpful. He actually worked for me for a year, running the printing press, kind of training me, teaching me how to do something.
Helping you transition.
Yeah, as a tax accountant, you'll love this. I was in my first month, and it's like the 14th or whatever, and he's like, you have to do taxes tomorrow. I'm like, what? I'm like, nope, not April 15th, right? It's like August. I'm good. And so you have to do the monthly taxes reporting.
You gotta do the sales tax.
I'm like, oh my God.
It's so funny. There's so many compliance pieces. And that's why I always tell people, do you really want to know all the compliance pieces? Is this is this a good time for you to learn what that looks like?
Yeah.
Or should we help you with those things? Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
I know. I always tell people you really want to do your own payroll because if you understand all the compliance pieces, sure, but we're looking at 5 to potentially 10 compliance pieces on just a payroll run.
Right.
So why wouldn't you just pay somebody to do it?
Exactly. Play to your strengths. Stay
Exactly.
in your lane.
And I hate payroll. I understand payroll, but I hate it.
Which is okay for me, but
right.
Maybe not so much. I don't know.
We'll do it if we have to. But I always tell my business owners, I have somebody do my payroll. And it's just me right now on payroll. I have some contractors and stuff, but it's just me on payroll.
Yep.
And I have somebody else do it because it's 5 seconds of my month to just be like, here's the time.
Yep.
Gone.
Yep.
So what were your biggest successes in the printing business? You ended up with a whole team and...
I did. So what I tell people is, and I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
I walked in, this was 2005, so technology was fairly advanced at that time. But I walked in, and he had an analog printer, printer copier, which people don't know what that is, right?
I don't know what that is.
When you print, you have 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So, right, CMYK. So this analog printer would scan something 4 times.
Oh, for 4 colors.
For 4 colors. Print it out, and it was like the most horrific copy you've ever seen. And he's like, oh, yeah, that looks great. I'm like, people give you money for this? So the first thing I had to do was get it into the 20th century so I could actually take it into the 21st century.
It's crazy.
Update the technology, update the software, update all of the equipment that we had, right? It was crazy. That was a huge accomplishment. And then, growth, we had tremendous growth. I think we had, after the first year, I'm making money, and not realizing my bank account's going down every month after month. So the first year, you get to the end of the year, I'm like, holy crap, I didn't make any money. Other than that year, I think we had one down year in maybe 2010. But other than that, we were growing, constantly growing, year-over-year growth, always double digits. We had one year where it was a 7% growth, but, either 10 to 30% growth year over year. Quadrupled the size of the business, added the staff. That whole process was probably my greatest, achievement in the business.
Running it.
Yeah.
Growing it. Well, what do you attribute that growth to? Was it just getting out in the community? Was it quality? Was it timeliness?
I'll tell you what I tell people, and I believe this is probably 80 to 90% true. What I did personally, was gave people customer service.
Right.
Not great customer service, but good customer service.
Right.
Because people today even are so used to no customer service that you give them a little and they think they're like royalty, right?
So funny.
It was the biggest thing. Just give them a little bit of customer service.
It's like be better than Comcast and you're good to go.
Exactly.
It's
Give
really
them
funny.
a quality product, explain to them what they don't know so they understand why you're giving them what they're giving them.
Yeah.
And show them how this is the best they're going to get.
Right.
Right? Don't give them the little 4 scanner. Just the little copy that looks like crap.
That
Just
is
don't
so
do that.
Funny. So funny. You are the person who taught me you have to pick 2, right? You can have quality, time, or price.
Right. Pick
2.
I did.
And I'm just like, you're going to get quality from me. It's probably not going to be quick, and it's definitely not going to be cheap, but it's going to be right.
Exactly.
And that's what I care about because you and I are very
Right.
similar.
I think that's why we resonate. So we have that same.
It's like I want it to be right, please.
Yes, and I want to do it myself, but I don't really want to do that.
No, I really don't
Yes,
want it.
I understand.
Why did you decide to sell the business? You ran into an obstacle with space, right?
No, it was a crazy story.
I love the crazy story.
So the owner of the printing business owned the building,
Right.
like I said. I had first right of refusal on the building. The building was built in like the 1913 era, I think.
Yeah. So this is
Added on the top.
So the building is original to the downtown area.
Yeah, original grocery
this
store
little town?
in downtown Castle Rock. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So it just was in horrible shape, and I'm like, there is no way I'm buying this. No way. But he kept trying year over year over year over year. So ended up, he finally was putting it on the market. He was going to sell the business or the building, and he did. And the new owners didn't really want us there. They were going to raise the rate because we were under market. Everything was golden. Prime location, but horrible parking situation. Nobody could get there. So we started looking for a new building, and we're shopping Castle Rock and that kind of thing. And I just started getting calls. Are you interested in selling your business? Nope, I'm good. Get another call. Somebody wants to buy our customer. I'm like, no. So the fourth time, my wife looks at me. She says, "Somebody's trying to tell you something." Right?
This is a sign.
I had a 5 to 7 year exit strategy. I'm getting out. I was planned. But all of this kept happening. I'm like, I really don't want to move the business. Right? All of this stuff, I don't want to do that.
The equipment and the leases and
so I started entertaining it, and whittled it down to 2 people, and the one that I thought would be able to take care of the customers the best.
Right. Because that's what matters.
That's what mattered to me, right? It didn't matter I was selling the business; they still needed to be taken care of.
Right, printing still had to happen.
So yeah, and I had no plan to sell the business in that time frame. It's like the universe was like, it's time. You're done.
It's time.
Go away.
You've done what you can.
Exactly.
Turn around.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you decided to go into, what do you call this? So Optimized Wellness does...
Optimized Wellness. It's really a niche kind of market. I'll tell you the story of how this happened.
Healthcare?
No, it's not alternative.
Not really.
It's natural.
It's natural.
It's the natural-based healthcare, right? So I'm only own the printing business. We move out way far out east in the country. And I work in Castle Rock. I live in a barn. I live in Castle Rock, but I'm used to going to a huge gym up in Parker Centennial area. Mm-hmm. So I would get off work 6 o'clock at night in Castle Rock, drive to Parker and Arapahoe, work out, and drive home an hour to get home just because I wanted to go to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. So one time after work, I had this great workout, and you got all these endorphins flowing. This song comes on the radio, and this thing just hits me. I want a wellness center.
I love it.
I want no idea what that meant, right?
In my mind, how this is going to work.
In my mind, I'm thinking a gym, right? Because I love going to the gym. That's what I love to do.
Me too.
So I had this in the back of my mind. This was probably 2 years before I sold the business. Mm-hmm. Did nothing. But again,
it's been marinating.
Things were there, right? It was like a set it, forget it. It's there. But so when I started this, so what I'd been doing, I was avid gym worker, worker outer, I don't know what you call it. Gym rat. That's really
fitness person.
Fitness person. Yes. And so I, as I age, had noticed my workouts were not the same. Mm-hmm. My recovery was not the same. The results were not the same. Mm-hmm. So I heard about a natural testosterone,
right?
In therapy that you could get that's 100% natural, basically zero side effects, that kind of thing. So I'd been on the therapy, and it dawned on me, this could be a business because nobody knows about this. Mm-hmm. It started to gain more popularity, more media
with
attention
those
now,
the low
right?
T centers and stuff for the testosterone. Yeah. But still, people don't know.
But people didn't know. The people that I worked with primarily focused on women. Mm-hmm. They would work with OBGYNs, which was great if you're a woman and your OB bought into this. If your OB didn't, how do you hear about it?
Or you're of the age where you're actually seeing your OB that often.
Yes. Or you're a male that don't go to the OBs.
Right.
How do you know about this stuff?
Right.
So I'm like, people need to know about this because I am very opposed to synthetic, to prescription, to all of this. The whole medical philosophy of symptom pill, symptom pill, symptom pill.
Right.
Don't buy into it.
Right.
I'm a guy who has had the same doctor for 25 plus years. My doctor doesn't know my name. I don't go in. I just don't,
No, we don't either.
So to me, that's how the whole thing got started. I was on the therapy. I'm like, people need to know about this.
And it works great for you.
Create this. Yeah, I had positive results, right? Night and day. So I'm like, let's bring this to the masses.
Right.
The people that don't have the OBGYNs, the people that don't know what is out there that is natural, that is beneficial for them, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into that.
That's awesome. So you started with hormone replacement therapy.
Started with hormone replacement therapy.
Okay. So you have a nurse practitioner that does
all the medical stuff.
because you're not medical.
Yes. Great. Here's the story with that, right? When I left the printing business, I made a decision that I would be in a business that I could not do myself.
I
couldn't do it myself. I can't administer any medication. I can't administer any hormones. I can't physically do that, right? So that keeps me at bay. So I can't control everything. I can't take it over.
Right.
I don't have to work the 90 hours a week because I can't. What am I going to do?
Just
Patients
sit there?
come in, I can sit and chat with them, but I'm not doing anything.
I'll just be here.
So yeah.
In the room.
So I have a nurse
just
practitioner.
sitting here watching.
I'm just an observer.
I'm just an observer. Talk about creepy.
A little bit, right?
So you have a nurse practitioner that's doing all of this.
Yes.
So what have been the biggest barriers to growing this business?
Oh, wow.
Well, we started in Castle Rock. Sorry, Castle Rock. Not really.
Okay, yep, that actually was a barrier. I'm not going to lie. The biggest barrier, so in my mind, and people aren't, I realize I'm a little different. Mm-hmm. I don't think the same. I don't act the same. I don't operate the same as the masses, right? Because when I heard, I knew something was wrong. I knew my testosterone was low.
Right.
When I heard there was something natural, beneficial, literally no side effects,
mm-hmm.
I'm raising my hand. I'm like, where can I get it, and how soon can I get it?
Well, that's how I am, though. Like, that sounds like it might help me. Let's try it.
Right. Exactly. Like, oh, natural? Yes.
Okay, sure.
Beneficial? I'm in. Sign me up.
I'm happy to try.
The population isn't like that.
I know. Why?
They're like all skeptical, like, I don't know. Because they're like, I will listen. They'll do anything the doctor says.
Yeah.
Right. And God love the doctors. They do have.
They're doing what they can with their own information.
Yeah, and they've got a desire to help people.
They do.
But their hands are somewhat tied.
In certain things, yes.
In certain ways. So they don't have time to read the research. So they read a synopsis.
Right.
And they can read a synopsis about how hormone therapy increases breast cancer in women. Like, no.
Based
hormone therapy,
on what?
bad. Based on a research study.
One
right?
study?
It was done on one study. It was done with synthetic horse estrogen. Same dose to every woman, regardless of their age, their symptoms, their
weight, their
exactly. So all they read is that synopsis, and so they don't know. They're like, oh no, hormone therapy will increase your risk for cancer. Okay, yes, if you're using synthetic, it will.
Right.
If you're using natural, it is actually protectant against Alzheimer's, against dementia, against breast cancer.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Actually reverses the signs or the symptoms of osteoporosis. Women will see increased bone density year over year, up to 8% year over year.
That is huge.
Right? It's incredible, right? I mean, this is like great stuff. But the doctors, all they know is this little synopsis of one study in one set in time, and what led up to that study and how they administered it. It didn't matter. So that's one of the biggest barriers, because the perception is, no, if you're adding hormones to your body, that's bad. It's going to cause you problems.
Right.
So it's not so much of, in my case, it was they let me know about it, and I'm like, yes.
Right.
What I find is you have to educate people and show them, what this process is, what it does for you, mm-hmm. and kind of lead them down the path of, okay, I like to say, and it's a tagline on our website, aging is natural, but suffering from it doesn't have to be. In today's technology, you now have a choice.
Right.
So what I see now, instead of selling people or marketing hormones, I give them information. Here's the information. Okay, you can age better. Mm-hmm. You can enjoy more of your life longer. What do you want to do? The choice is yours. I'm not going to tell you to do it. If you, I'm telling you it's available. Mm-hmm. And if that's something you want to do and are interested in, we're glad to help. But I look at now, I'm not a hormone pusher. Mm-hmm. I'm an educator.
Yeah.
Right? You have to educate people on what's out there.
And what their options are.
Yeah, and that I did not realize that. In my mind, it's like, oh, you tell people this, they're going to be like me. Yes, give me that.
Sorry.
They're just
sounds great. I'm in.
But
where do I sign up?
Exactly.
Is it going to work? Maybe.
Yeah.
Then what if it doesn't? Meh.
Right.
Right?
Right.
but you have the potential to be better and
Yes.
feel better.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you guys are doing hormone replacement therapy. You have some other services or therapies you guys provide. Tell us a little bit about those. I'm really excited to hear about the inflammatory pain ones.
Yeah. So this is something my nurse practitioner brought to me because I didn't know anything about it. But again, it's 100% natural and it's 100% beneficial, right? And the crazy thing is, it's ozone. And people get that look when you say that. They're like, wait, what?
wait, let me do the look properly.
Only thing people know about ozone is what? The atmosphere, right?
Right.
And if it's high or low, or you can breathe better, don't go outside, that whole thing. But it's a different animal, right? Ozone in the atmosphere is created from toxins, right? And they use that as a measurement because it's easily measurable. There's other stuff up there that they can't measure, so they can't talk about it. So they talk about the ozone. What we do is we provide what my practitioner calls energized oxygen, because ozone is oxygen's two parts, O2. Add an extra molecule, so it's O3 for ozone.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Basic chemistry knowledge right here.
Boom, done. Right? I got a D in chemistry, just so everybody knows.
I tried to be a chemical engineer.
I hated chemistry.
I loved chemistry. Nick
Seriously?
and I were just talking about this. I loved chemistry in high school. So much that I wanted to be a chemical engineer.
Wow.
I went to college to be a chemical engineer. And then I looked around my freshman year and I was like,
No, thank you.
these people for the next 4 years? Pass.
I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to something way more interesting.
Yeah, let's do
taxes.
Well, that wasn't the next step. But anyway, it was a long journey to the to the tax stuff. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
I loved chemistry. So
Excellent.
O3.
Yeah, so O3, so energized oxygen, right? An extra molecule. Two therapies that we're using for this. One is called Prolozone, and this is a therapy that is for relief of chronic pain. And what it is it's the ozone, which is a gas.
Yeah.
It's generated through a generator in our office, inserted into a syringe. It's in a gas. But we can inject that, and it's mixed with vitamins and minerals that will help speed recovery and help you. Injected directly into the joints. So if you have joint pain, tendonitis, you insert
get
this
an appointment
gas.
right
Wait, can I go back to the office? with
Yeah,
you?
can I go with you?
Yes, generally 1 to 3 treatments, and the symptoms are gone. Literally, when you come in the first time and you get the injection, you will feel the pain relief.
Wow.
And what you're doing is, as soon as that ozone enters your body, almost immediately, it's a very unstable molecule. So that third O molecule will break off and attach itself to free radicals.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it'll attack the inflammation and the toxins and get that out of your body. The other molecule, it's just regular oxygen, so it gets absorbed into the cells, so your cells are strengthened, right?
That's
To
really
stimulate
cool.
the whole healing process. It's phenomenal stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this? I have no shoulder pain. I've had 3 doctors in my life tell me you have to have rotator cuff surgery.
And now you're just fine.
And I'm a guy, I'm like, I'm not going under the knife.
Not until I
No.
absolutely have
Yeah,
to.
because there's side effects. You could tell me there's no side effects. You have at least scar tissue, which limits range of motion, which no, thank you. No.
No, I want to go do my workouts.
I will adjust. Right? Yeah, so it's the most phenomenal thing. So tendonitis, joint pain, all of these things now can be. We have had people with permanent relief from chronic pain.
That's crazy.
It is totally crazy. And you're not doing the prescriptions. You're not doing the ibuprofen. You're not doing things that are going to cause you side effects and symptoms down the road that you're going to have to address with something else.
Right.
Right? This is 100% natural.
And they just inject it.
It just takes the yuck
that
out
is
of your body,
so fascinating.
leaves the oxygen. It's like so cool,
I have
right?
to come experience this.
Oh, it's phenomenal. And then the other therapy, it's called MAH. I would tell you what that means, but it's a word like this long. No, I can't even say it. It's basically systemic ozone therapy.
Okay.
So what we do is we'll drain off some blood, add the ozone to the blood, mix it up into the blood, and reinsert that in the body. So it goes in systemically. Now we're talking things like rheumatoid arthritis can be relieved. We're talking anti-aging.
MS.
I believe MS. This is huge for people like with Lyme's disease.
Oh yes,
Right,
they
because that's a
have the
huge
systemic-
autoimmune.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anything with autoimmune, this will address, because it's doing the same kind of process. It's attaching to the toxins, to the free radicals, and getting that out of your body.
And helping with the inflammation.
And it's helping with inflammation. It's doing it at the cellular level. So
That's
you're
so
actually in the
crazy.
mitochondria of the cell, stimulating that cell, providing better oxygen utilization within that cell, so they don't have to split apart as much. So now you're slowing the actual aging process, right?
So crazy.
It's like the best. And so I'm like, okay,
You're drinking
whatever.
water with ozone, right?
Yeah,
Is that
I'm
what you
not.
told
I'm
me?
not.
Oh.
But you can't. Yeah, we've talked about, because you can infuse. There's infused oils with ozone. You can infuse water with ozone. It's an incredibly powerful tool that people don't know about.
And
right?
easily attained, right? Is it easily attained? You have a generator that creates it.
Yeah. So we have a generator that creates the ozone.
All it does
we
is
create it from pure medical grade oxygen.
Okay.
Through the generator, creates the ozone as that extra molecule, and then we,
Use it.
the dosing is what's important. It's important in the hormones, important in the oxygen or the ozone. But what concentration that is, and how that's administered, it's mind blowing.
This is fascinating.
It's mind blowing. The first time I did the MAH, she tried it on me so I could experience the results.
You're like, I can't do
I'm
the
like,
thing, but
natural?
I will be
Yes,
the
show
guinea
me.
pig.
So she gave it to me and didn't really notice a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I went within probably an hour and a half, went and did a workout. Phenomenal workout, right? Less pain,
Right.
noticeably less inflammation. So it was phenomenal. And
How was your recovery from that workout?
recovery's been awesome, but that also goes back to some of the hormones as well, right?
Just curious.
But the mental clarity, literally night and day mental clarity. I'm working and I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like getting shit done, and I'm like focusing and organizing. I'm like, this is incredible.
That's amazing.
It just was like, it's the most phenomenal stuff that people just don't know about.
Well, now
Right.
they can
Now-
know about
now
it.
they know about it.
Here we go.
Right? And do you think it's new? It's like, oh, this is the latest fad. It's not even, it's over 100 years old.
This therapy.
The ozone therapy. One of the first ozone generators was actually created by Nikola Tesla in the late 1800s. Is that crazy?
That is crazy.
So it was used extensively in the medical community, even in the early 1900s, until war, right? So Big Pharma came in, and it's much easier to administer pain medication on a battlefield if
Than
it's synthetic.
ozone.
Yes, than
I
ozone.
mean, you can't be carrying around ozone.
Exactly. And so Big Pharma kind of piggybacked on that, and that kind of blew up, and so ozone kind of got shrunk. It's still widely used, again, out of the country. Europe, Russia, Mexico.
really?
Yes. We had a patient actually just came in last month. He called up, and the first thing he said is, I had ozone 10 years ago in Mexico. Saved my life, and I can't find it here.
Oh, wow.
And he was thrilled. He's like 3 miles away from where we are. It's phenomenal.
You're just so happy you had it now.
Yes,
So you guys are providing it in Colorado.
providing in Colorado. This we're doing only at our Centennial location.
Okay.
We have offices in Centennial and Castle Rock, but the ozone therapy right now, both Prolozone and the MAH are administered in Centennial.
Because you have to have the generator.
You have to have the generator, the space.
So how many people are doing this, though? It seems like it's probably a super rare therapy in that case right now.
How many
That's
people
awesome.
are doing it with us?
Well, no, how many people are doing the ozone
Oh, the-
administration? Not very many.
Not very many.
How did your nurse practitioner find this?
That is a great question that I don't know I know the answer to.
That's just really interesting.
Yeah.
But it speaks to her how much she wants to help your help your patients.
We're so in sync with business goals, with
Yeah.
I mean the whole goal, and it's I don't know how achievable it really is, but the goal is to change the way medicine is practiced. We want to get to the root cause of issues and deal with the root. It's like, and I was thinking about this last night about 2:30 in the morning.
Because I had some ozone and I
told
couldn't
you.
sleep and I had to get some stuff done.
I told you the whole thing about the beach, right? And I
Right.
love the beach. And the ocean is this incredible organism that you put something in the ocean, it will do everything it can to get it out on the beach,
to
right?
get rid of it.
Spit it out. Our bodies are the same way. They're designed to heal themselves. If you have a cut from when you were 3, you don't have that cut today, right? It healed itself. So what we want to do is put back in what the body needs to, stimulate or help the body achieve the natural healing process that it does.
That's really cool.
And not going after a symptom, but getting into that root cause, getting into the root cause of inflammation and rheumatoid arthritis and, lack of energy and not sleeping. All of these things that people accept as aging,
right?
You don't have to.
I love it.
If you want to, that's fine.
But
and
you don't have
there
to.
are, I swear to God,
I have a podcast for you before we're done here, or when we're done here. Talk to you about it in a minute. Okay, well, before I ask you my last question, what is the easiest way for people to find you and Optimized Wellness?
Probably the easiest to go to our website, myoptimizedwellness.com.
And we'll put it in the description box.
Or you can get to us through Facebook as well, facebook.com/myoptimizedwellness.
Okay, awesome. So, my friend, what is the one thing you would tell new business owners? What would be your one big piece of advice?
Do your research.
Do
your research. And that's the one thing going back to when I first got into self-employment. I thought I knew everything, right? We ran a budget. I ran staff. You have all these pieces of a business that you think, okay, I'm just going to convert that into a business. But you've got to do your research on what that business really is. You need to, and I told you earlier, you need to stay in your lane. Figure out what you're good at, and then surround yourself with people who complement what you need.
Perfect. That's great advice.
Don't do it yourself.
That's great advice. Yeah, too many business owners are doing it themselves, me included sometimes.
Yeah. Stop it.
I know. I tell myself that sometimes. I'm like writing this thing down as the thing that I need to stop. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's great to get with you.
Appreciate it.
Hey y'all, thanks for listening. If you found this podcast to be inspiring, helpful, and entertaining, please like and subscribe. This helps us grow the community and reach more people. If you are interested in learning more about this episode's guest or accessing any of the books or other resources mentioned in this episode, be sure to check out the description box below. Until next time, be abundant.